I'm chilling, working on my next project, yo. And you're out there having fun without me. That's so mean. Not really. I'm so glad you're having fun. Enjoy yourself. Yo, it's Lainey, and this is day 4 on healing practices. Alright, let's get right to it. I just noticed in the last videos that I kind of sound robotic. So I wanted to stop with that robotic voice and just sound more natural. Before we start this video, and this is going to be more of a logical aspect on this episode, I wanted to share everything in the beginning to be creative, and then we're going to get right to it with the logical. All right. So I've picked up this piece of art in San Francisco, and it was like a mural on a wall, and it was at this place called the Museum or the History and Museum of Art in San Francisco. And it looks like this. One second. So as you see here, I was very intrigued by this painting. The reason being is because I see a woman who is gazing above, I guess you could mention the sky, and she looks very happy. Beside her is, I guess, maybe they could be students, or they look like they're happy and empowered. And on the bottom here, I noticed that they're actually walking on water. And what seems to be on the bottom, it looks like statues. I could see that there's a cross right there, and then there's like people in, or I don't know, what is this? A knight, maybe, to you, or well, to me. And then right here, it looks like it's a sailboat of some sort. Anyways, I was very intrigued by this painting, not because of the colors. Well, the colors are very great, but because that the way that they're excelling into something conformity on the bottom. So I guess the bottom, it seems to be some type of system or old system into something, well, fascinating, something expansive, something evolved. And then my take on something like that is this. This is my version of what I think evolving means. And around that, this is called failure on the sides. It says fail, failure, fail, fail. And in the middle here it says, so what? You could fail so many times, but it's still gonna be beautiful if you keep going, right? Or the outcome might actually be a success. So evolving and repetition plays a huge part with this learning that we're gonna do today. And it is based on strengths and weaknesses. It's basically knowing who you are and what strengths and weaknesses you have to get to your higher self. I wanted to also bring out this quote here I found in the same art museum. This person, Joan Mitchell, is an artist, and most of her work is actually really good. It displays a lot of Well, let me just give you some examples. So, this is her quote. It says, "The solitude that I find in my studio is one of plenitude. I am enough for myself. I live fully there." What does that quote mean? Well, it's talking about her career. Well, from what she does, right? Her studio could be the art studio that she finds herself just immersed in its whole existence, where she becomes one with it. She found herself with her career doing this. So, anyways, this painting really intrigued me of hers. It looks like, what is that? Like, it's just a bunch of paint scribbled together on a piece of canvas, right? When in actuality, if you step back and just examine this art piece, there's so many things that it could remind you of. Let's say it might be a landscape or a garden. Most of her work is not supposed to be figuratively something to get, it's a mystery. It makes you think, what went through this person's mind when she created this? What could it be? And it's kind of intriguing because it could be a lot of things, not just one. So, like, there's this other artwork I wanted to, I was intrigued about as well. And this was at the Asian Art Museum in San Francisco. And a woman named Chanel Miller drew this, where she created this piece of art. And although it looks very simple, its meaning is it has a very big impact. So she did go through a bunch of bad history that she did, but I didn't want to mention it on here. But you could do some research on Google about this. But anyways, this portrays someone who, my take on this is that someone was in a very bad or negative state, which was I was, right? This this person looks very sad, very let me just say, like, it looks to me like they're like hopeless. This person looks hopeless, like basically they don't know what's going to happen to them, or they're in a state of sadness or some type of sorrow. They don't know how to move on with what this was in their state of being. It could be your past as well, something that's holding you back. And then we later go down to a part of healing in the middle here. So it transitioned from someone who was sad into someone who started to look inwards instead of seeking outwards, right? So she, or it, or he, started to work on themselves and started to live in the present, which then turned into someone who looks calm, someone who feels centered. They might not have it all right now, but they're starting to get there. So this is in a phase of I am. And then we go down here, and this person starts to get up. This person starts to have hope in themselves. And what that says, it turns this person from I am to I will be. And look, this person's alright, you know, this person moved on from the was. So, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? You can always change your situation if you're willing to look internally first. And that's what we're doing now. We're working on ourselves to be that higher self we want to be. Okay, so in this episode, I'm going to describe what is strength and what is weaknesses. So, in general terms, the definition of strength is the quality or state of being strong. And then, what is weakness? Weakness is the state or condition of lacking strength. So, in that terms, the emphasis on your strength, and that comes into knowing who you are as well. Here's a fun fact: if you actually do a personality calculator, it gives you a pinpoint on what type of person you are. If you go to 16personalities.com, take that test, it's free. It could list you as someone who is an ENFJ like me, or like an INFP or something. And let me just give you a background on the example. So ENFJ, which is myself, is someone who is extroverted. So extroverted is meaning like someone who is not afraid to be extroverted to others. In that sort of sense, very outgoing. And then intuitive, meaning that I could sense things just by intuition. Feeling means I do have this big impact on feeling. And then judging pretty much around from the best judgment that I have. So if you do this 16personalities.com free calculator on Google, it'll tell you exactly what type of personality you have, which is cool. It will help you with your strengths and your weaknesses. So the personality of a ENFJ is someone who's a leader and an innovator. That is the basic personalities of a ENFJ. Down here, the strengths for an ENFJ is someone who is receptive, reliable, passionate, altruistic, and charismatic. And then if you move over here under weaknesses, we sometimes could be unrealistic, overly idealistic, yes, condescending, intense, very, overly empathetic. And then up here, some famous ENFJs would be Barack Obama and Oprah Winfrey. So let's continue. Something that's called know yourself. Know yourself. Yes, behind this notebook is my lovely artistic set. This was $20 on Amazon, just letting you know. It comes with pencils, well, different type of pencils, and then we got charcoal right here, and then we have different charcoal colors, And then we have colored pencils. Some are metallic, which is cool. Watercolors. And I got this. It's like some random pens and whatnot, but let's continue. So, know yourself. Strengths. Strengths. Yes, it could be you're motivated, you're self-starter, you're innovative, you're creative. You have leadership skills, you're resilient, you're able to endure a lot. Very attentive to detail, athletic. And then let's see here, weaknesses. You could, this could be some examples as well. You could be sidetracked easily, could be impulsive, egoistic, self absorbed, attention span should could be high or low. Bored easily. So that's some examples on strengths and weaknesses. Okay, before we move on, I wanted to list some numbers as well in this session. Numerology 101. So let's start with 303. 303 is empower you. And then 987 is to pursue your passion. And then 827 is persistence. And then the last one, which is 831, is something that is a good number to have. 831. And let me go get that for you. All right, number 831, meaning in numerology is do not limit your abilities. You should always think of working in places where your abilities are not limited. Angel number 831 is advising you to seek the freedom of exploring your natural gifts. Therefore, be free to do what your heart desires. Okay, so to continue, thank you, Google. This really helped me out. So, while doing extensive research before until now on strengths and weaknesses to getting to your core of. So, the light just went out, and I'm still going to continue. So, where was I? Yes. So, anyways, we're talking about the strengths and weaknesses, and then also how they correlate in analytical. It could be analytical, expressive, amiable, and then delivery. So in analytical sense, it shows here that strengths could be thinking, thorough, disciplined. And then for the deliver portion, it says that the strengths could be independent, decisive, and determined. For amiable, that's something where you could get along with somebody. And that could be under supportive, patient, and diplomatic. Another thing as well is expressive. You could be a good communicator, enthusiastic, and imaginative. So let's continue with the head strengths. So in head strengths, your brain. It comes off as creative, curious, the love of learning, judgment, and perspective. And then to move along there, your heart strengths is under courage, which is bravery, perseverance, honesty, and zest. For humanity, to have the strength of others with others is it comes with love, kindness, and social intelligence. Temperance is the strength of self, and that falls under forgiveness, humility, prudence, self-regulation. And then we have justice, which is community strengths. And this comes under the description as fairness, leadership, and teamwork. Okay, and then we come to transcendence, which is it is the strength of your spirit. And this comes from appreciating beauty and excellence, gratitude, humor, spirituality, and the most important thing, hope. So to continue to find who you are is always it's a battle too sometimes. It could be a battle of, again, trying what fits and trying, constantly trying what moves you forward as a person and what doesn't. And with this, I'd like to come up with, or actually show, the process of knowing oneself in this drawing that I created. One moment. Okay, so this is my version of the process of knowing oneself. You could see that on the bottom, it starts off as someone sitting down. And in their head, they could be thinking, who am I? Why am I here in this world? What can I do to feel fulfilled? So this is the question marks on starting off finding out who you are as a person. And that personalities test is a good way of finding out who you are. And based off the answers that you give in that questionnaire, it narrows it down to exactly the 16 personality types of the Myers-Briggs. So, one step on the process of knowing, as you could see, the self becomes more elevated. The self becomes more bigger. And it's with these steps that one has to take to figure out the process of knowing oneself. So who am I turns into who I will be, the higher self. All right, let's continue with this. It's dark. So anyways, a part of overcoming your weakness is that it's also to overcome your fear. And I kid you not, like, I used to be afraid of the dark. And I'm in the dark because the freaking light went out. And this always happens here in the Philippines, and I don't know why. Sometimes it could be because of the rain. But yeah, overcoming your fear, your weaknesses, facing the weaknesses, and then strengthening them. So let's go back to the weakness that I have, and then we'll get to working on them. So being sidetracked easily, impulsive, egoistic, self-absorbed, attention span is short, bored easily. So attention span and sidetracked easily could go together. They fit in the same category. So to overcome your weaknesses, we first have to notify or realize what they are. And then from there, you could choose to work on your weaknesses to make them better, or you could actually just strengthen what you're actually good at. You could do both. Um, yeah, so overcoming your fear of the dark. Oh boy. Kid you not, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, the middle of nowhere. Seriously. Yo. Like, there could be some weird ass ghosts just roaming. Or some weird ass, like, I don't know, Alia. Alia is a short term for, like, aswang or, like, monster or, like, whatever. But, yeah, anything could happen, but I'm not scared right now. Well, I used to be, but now I'm not. Maybe because we're getting something going on with this healing. This healing is somewhat doing good when you're facing your fears. Healing also comes into a part of facing your fears. It'll happen one way or another. One day, the thing that traumatized you will come back to you, but you are not gonna face it the same way that you used to. You're gonna face it in a more strengthened way. You're gonna look into this fear that you have and you're gonna kick that fear in the ass. Yes, that's what you're gonna do. Because not only have you healed from that trauma, you learned how to deal with it and move on from it. And that's like the best feeling ever, you know? Like going back to that Chanel Miller's drawing, you know what I mean? That could be you in this healing process. Let's continue. So, before we continue, I wanted to actually bring something up. So I wanted to bring up a entry on my journal. At this point of time in my life, I was scared. I was very alone, and I was in a world fed to the wolves. And I am glad to say that I've survived. And with that said, survival skills is not easy, but sometimes it's necessary. It's a way for you to become stronger. The quote, I know you heard this before, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, right? And you could teach that self-defense or survival skill to others who need it. You know, sometimes it is needed. It's like the universal saying, when something closes, another one opens all the time. You shouldn't be limited to one thing. There's an assortment of things that you could do or go after. Don't be limited to what your strength can do. So let's continue. All right, this was dated May 30. So May 30, I had stated here, I had confidence after an inner conflict today. It had a calming effect, as if I was solely focused on the things that I was doing, and everything around me completely shut off. That takes some practice, honestly. It was hard back then. After I hear something, I would get mad and leave the job after a few days or weeks for real. But if you actually focus on it internally, it's really good to know that you can control your emotions. And also, it takes strength to actually have it flow through you. Also, it could also do with how you look at things. Your perception inside is outside as well. Just have to perceive things differently and learn how to control your inner chaos. Before I viewed things a lot more different. I guess it was like a newbie in the city, totally clueless about how the city works. Especially in a new town, not as slow paced like Hawaii. It's a new city and it never comes easy. I did for once in a long time was determined or felt determined. I could see the colors reflect from the sun in complete darkness. Green, purple, and orange hues. They glisten so bright when I put my phone in the sun. Hope is looking up. Today was the first time I actually asked for advice from my sister. I do look up to her a lot, and I had to say this to myself. People ask for help, you know. You shouldn't be inclined to know it all, because sometimes you really don't. That was a pride talking back then. I'm getting slowly used to it, and in my head, possibly assumptions, but I really, really, for real know for sure. Just weird feelings or something. It's there, the human feelings, the real human feelings. Seriously felt good to actually have it through, and it's better out than in. When the wave of emotions hit, I swear I thought I was going to drown in a tsunami. But walking it off and stretching really helped. And yeah, low-key in the car wanted to cry. But I don't know if I did or not, honestly. But you got literally no pretty much at least you asked for help or advice or something, because figuring it all out doesn't work by yourself unless you be alone again. So do you want to be alone again? Or do you want to ride it out? You already made your choice. No refunds on the coaster. I'm gonna step it up a notch. Do something different. I just realized I keep going in loops, but mistakes is good though. I finally know what it means when it says if you're good inside, then outside will be banging. I tossed a Target bag full of trash in the trash and said goodbye. It felt amazing AF. So with that said, yes, at that point of time, I was in a transition of finding out what my strengths and weaknesses were. And it was hard for me to ask for help or advice, even from people I extremely looked up to. And that was the ego talking. Basically, the ego tells you that you are limited to what you can do. But the higher self tells you that you can do it. You can get the advice you need, and you can get the help that you need as well. Your higher self will act as your light in this whole phase of growth. So, anyways, here is a false self. The false self is trying too hard. The false self is trying too hard to be something that they're not. The false self has a lot of blockages, and I'm going to talk about the chakra system next. So blockages could be pointing to your chakras as well. The false self is not feeling fulfilled. Example, I've studied 2 years in business administration just to find out I hated administrative duties. My personality type, I didn't really, well, I wasn't awake back then, so I came into the assumption that maybe this would be good for me and I'd be, okay with working in an office. But actually, it was having me not feeling fulfilled. And for an extroverted person as I am, like staying introverted in an office was so not the biz. So I tend to hate that, or did like dislike that career path that I was on in the beginning, which was the office life. And then it turned into figuring out, going through a lot of cycles, going through a lot of what fits and what doesn't, finding out your true self, who you are as a person, your personality, and then it turned into the true identity. So the true identity, whoops, yeah. The true identity for a person is something that comes off as natural. So, like, basically, the career path that your true identity carries is something that you do naturally, that it feels very like you were destined to do that, or you have this past life that incarnated and you had done this before in the previous life and it just comes so natural to you. So, for example, it would be something like, let's say, drawing, right? So, drawing just comes so natural, and you're just very artistic in general, coming up with all of these ideas set from your mind to the pen or to the colors or to the paint into something physical. And yeah, so that it just comes natural for you. Moving on, with this natural talent that you have, it opens many opportunities and doors for you. This natural talent that you have actually manifests itself naturally, and it opens so many things for you. So without even trying, and even if you're just talented in general at what you do, even from school or something, that opens many opportunities for you to excel in what you do. And then going forward, everything that you do in that nature just always goes above and beyond expectations. You're left feeling very accomplished, and you're willing to expand in your true identity into something that comes natural for you. So, an example that I found out during this process was what you didn't know about yourself might be the key to your destined career. Yeah. So, anyways, this is the chakra system. So, at the top, you have your crown chakra, and then going down, we have the third eye chakra. Then we have the throat chakra, which I need healing right now. Then we come into the heart chakra, and then the solar plexus chakra, the sacral chakra, and the root chakra. With that said, I wanted to share as well, when you are meditating or sometimes when you're sleeping, I like to listen to aura sounds. So aura sounds, you could type in aura sounds, AURA sounds on YouTube, and then a bunch of calming, meditating music will pop up. And then there's also a playlist on Spotify that has aura sounds, and this actually cleans your chakras. And I know that for a fact because it worked on me. So let's continue with Chakra 101. Chakra means wheel, and it refers to energy points in your body. They are thought to be spinning discs of energy that should stay open and aligned, as they correspond to bundles of nerves, major organs, and areas of our energetic body that affect our emotional and physical well-being. Let's start from the root chakra, and I've explained that as well before, starting from the bottom, root. It's located on the base of the spine, in the tailbone area, and its color is red. This means your physical identity, stability, and grounding. And in order to get to the root chakra, of course, you have to go. Let's go back to the beginning, where it all began. Yin and yang. Defining your yin and yang will bring you closer to your truth, and that is your root. A blocked root chakra can manifest as physical issues like arthritis, constipation, and bladder or colon problems, or emotionally through feeling insecure about finances or basic needs and well-being. When it's in alignment and open, we will feel grounded and secure both physically and emotionally. Okay, let's move up the ladder, and this is the sacral chakra, just below the belly button, just above the pubic bone, and its color is orange. This means sexuality, pleasure, and creativity. Issues with this chakra can be seen via problems with the associated organs like urinary tract infections, lower back pain, impotency. Emotionally, this chakra is connected to our feelings of self-worth. And let me just do a flashback on self-worth. You are worthy. Around pleasure, sexuality, and creativity. The solar plexus chakra, going up the ladder, is the upper abdomen in the stomach area. Its color is yellow, meaning self-esteem and confidence. Blockages in the third chakra are often experienced through digestive issues like ulcers, heartburn, eating disorders, and indigestion. It's a chakra of our personal power. This means it's related to our self-esteem and self-confidence. Okay, up we got the heart chakra, located in the center of the chest, just above the heart. Its color is green. Its meaning, love and compassion. Blocks in our heart chakra can manifest in our physical health through heart problems, asthma, and weight issues. But blocks are often seen even more clearly through people's actions. People with heart chakra blocks often put others first to their own detriment. It's the middle of the seven chakras, so it bridges the gap between our upper and lower chakras, and it also represents our ability to love and connect to others. When out of alignment, it can make us feel lonely, insecure, and isolated. Hence, I was feeling that way a week ago. Things changed. Alright, throat chakra. The throat. I have some blockages in my throat right now. Ain't gonna lie. Location, the throat. Its color is blue and its meaning is communication. But we're working on it though. It's actually gotten better over the past day. Yeah. As one would expect, this chakra is connected to our ability to communicate verbally. Voice and throat problems, as well as any problems with everything surrounding that area, such as the teeth, gums, and mouth, can indicate a blockage. Blocks or misalignment can also be seen through dominating conversations, gossiping, speaking without thinking, and having trouble speaking your mind. When in alignment, you will speak and listen with compassion and feel confident when you speak because you know you are being true to yourself with your words. Yes, it's healing. Up the ladder, we got the third eye chakra. Its location is in between the eyes on the forehead, which is why it's also known as the brow chakra. Its color is indigo, meaning intuition and imagination. Since this chakra is physically located on the head, blockages can manifest as headaches, issues with sight or concentration, and hearing problems. People who have trouble listening to reality, who seem to know it all, or who are not in touch with their intuition may also have a block. When open and in alignment, it's thought that people will follow their intuition and be able to see the big picture. Okay, moving on. The crown chakra, the very top of the head, and it's violet or white, and its meaning is awareness and intelligence. The crown chakra is linked to every other chakra and therefore every organ in the system. And so it affects not just all of these organs but also our brain and nervous system. It is considered the chakra of enlightenment and represents our connection to our life's purpose and spirituality. Those with a blocked crown chakra may seem narrow-minded, skeptical, or stubborn. When this chakra is open, it is thought to help keep all the other chakras open and to bring the person bliss and enlightenment. As these are all energetic centers of the body that correspond to feelings, one of them probably resonated with you as you were reading. Yes. Thank you very much for this, Miss Gretchen Stelter. This is her blog, A Beginner's Guide to the Seven Chakras. So, like, I'd like to end off this note and this discussion on strengths and weaknesses and finding out who your true identity or what your true identity is and what you could do to expand into your higher self. Is an exercise. Oh, here's another topic I wanted to discuss too. It's not always the right timing where you are going to find this natural talent that you have. Sometimes there's courses that needs to or has to play out for it to manifest itself. So waiting on divine timing is important, and that's one thing that I need to work on as my weakness as well. Divine timing means that you have to accept some things, and if it's not in your nature to, because sometimes my nature is I am going to go after it right now. Right now. But then the universe is like telling you, well, you have to let things open up, let things flourish. The universe is going to give you everything and then more if you wait for the divine timing to do so. That takes a lot of patience and practice, honestly. Well, in my perspective, because I tend to go after the things I want all the time, not thinking about timing, anyways. But divine timing is a good way to practice patience too. There's something that I wanted to mention also. for divine timing, sometimes it plays a role because sometimes if you rush into something that's not supposed to happen at that particular moment, you could find yourself working too overworked to get there. Sometimes divine timing runs and takes its course to help things seep or grow. It's like planting seeds and waiting for it to grow and bloom into a flower. It takes patience for something bigger in your life to happen, like your destined career is about to open up soon and you could feel it. But if you rush into it, it's like you're gonna you're gonna miss that perfect divine timing. I did read some of that and I wanted to just bring that up as well here on the matter. One moment. Practicing surrender actually helps your manifestation efforts because surrender makes you more relaxed and open. That not only makes you more attractive in an energetic sense, surrender enables something to appear that's even better or more appropriate than what you are hoping to manifest. Divine timing makes you chill out about manifesting because you realize the timeline of your life is not only up to you, which takes some of the pressure and stress off of you. Is a quote by Scott Fitzgerald, and he was the author of this amazing story called The Great Gatsby. And he also wrote a couple of really cool stories, short stories, and quotes. But the most interesting part of his life was his wife, which seemed to be the inspiration to his writing. And I want to bring forth this quote to end today with. So this quote says, I fell in love with her courage, comma, her sincerity, comma, and her flaming self-respect. And it's these things I believe in, comma, even if the whole world indulged in wild suspicions that she wasn't all she should be. I love her, and it is the beginning of everything. And that's it, by Scott Fitzgerald. A writing about his wonderful, chaotic wife. So, anyways, that is it for today. Yeah, so anyways, that is it for today. It was a good discussion, and hopefully we'll have another cool one. The next one that I wanted to talk about will be mainly focused on emotions. I'm not gonna cry, by the way. I'm just really looking deeply into the lens. That's it. Have a good one. Peace. ENFJ out.